Lovecraft Country, Season 1, Episode 6, titled Meet Me at Daegu. And this episode is a really well done, put together episode. What the episode basically is, in a nutshell, is a World War II period drama set in Japan, because 100% of this episode is set in Japan. 90% of this episode is completely in subtitles and it is spoken in Japan, because we're following this main character named, in this context of this episode, the main character of the episode named Jiha, and she is battling a kind of demon, a kind of soul, I'm trying not to hit spoilers or anything, but this kind of entity is in her, and because of it, it's kind of balancing her emotions, her relationships, essentially, the relationships, because there's this strain towards her and her mom, and the strain between her and her friend, and the strains that she has on other men in relationships, like romantic relationships and that kind of thing. And when the certain things happen, definitely the entity that's in her, which is, it's Lovecraft Country. There's always like at least that one moment per episode that makes you go, what did I just look at? What did I just look at? What did I just look at? In a more like, what the what? You know, remember American Gods and the whole, a eating vagina? That's nothing. That's absolutely nothing anyway. So, what? But as I said, it's a white man's. But also you're dealing with the point of view of Japan. Because if you think about it, most of the stories that are told with World War II, it has been all about the Americans coming and save the day, and all that. But what you have is also a commentary and a point of view of what does Japan look like during the war, and the Americans showing up, and there's a sense of communism and point of views and people being stared, and there's a really graphic scene of horror and human violence and all that, and you're just like, jeez, can we play some Judy Garland? Which is heavily in this, turns out Jiha is a big fan of Judy Garland. I'm like, a little bit of musical, a little bit of Gene Kelly, nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I absolutely really enjoyed this episode. I mean, there's a little bit of sound mixing issues again. Like, it's a little bit of me feeling like I'm all grinding and asking the episode to turn it up. But outside of it, it's absolutely well done. There's moments in this, and every scene has an emotional residue towards it. Or a emotion. I mean, I don't want to hit spoilers, but when the nurses are lining up and the American soldiers are pointing guns to their faces and saying, well, one of you are a spy, please, and asking them to, are you a spy? No, and they completely shoot them in the head. Yeah, that was like a what the that's not the what the fuck, but that's like a what? Clearly, it's basically the more stare you are, the more you're going to get shot in the face. Oh dear. I mean, this show is kind of showing the horrors of our of just human history, and make people kind of go, jeez. And also the context of war, of like good people who had to do terrible things, horrible things, monstrous things, but because in war they had to do those things. And on that whole thing, it'll be interesting how it's like. Here's the thing: this episode could easily in the final final 4 episodes to be this whole thing of like, what's the point of this? This means nothing. Why are we here? Why are we doing this again? Like this episode could be completely pointless. But it'll be interesting how they include this to the overall story. But you know what? It kind of works as a standalone. Even though with the Lovecraft Country weirdness shit, you know, the supernatural element, it kind of completely works. Great episode of this show.